Hello everyone and welcome to this explainer. If you've ever felt like your absolutely incredible technical work, whether that's your data models, your coding, or your meticulous project management, just isn't getting the recognition, or more importantly, the budget it deserves from the executive team, you are in the exact right place. Today we're going to learn a completely new language. We aren't talking Python or C++, we're talking the language of the C-suite. We're going to demystify the math behind elite management consulting and show you exactly how the top-tier firms translate everyday activities into undeniable financial value. Okay, let's dive into this.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll hit bridging the value gap, then the foundational math, driving revenue and EBITDA, moving tech milestones to dollars, and we'll wrap it all up with the C-suite playbook.
First up, bridging the value gap, slides versus outcomes.
So you know that classic complaint about management consulting? You've probably even made it yourself. The idea that hiring consultants basically just means paying an absolute premium for some beautifully designed slide decks and a whole bunch of high-level meetings. Well, we are drawing a hard line right here between pretty slide decks and measurable business impact. Top-tier firms do not actually sell slides. The slides are just the delivery vehicle. What they're actually selling, what the client is buying, are hard, undeniable financial outcomes. We're talking about concrete cost reductions, tangible revenue growth, and sustained operational improvements. If you want to grab an executive's attention, you've got to stop talking about the presentation itself or the cool technical model you built and start talking about those measurable impacts. But how do we actually calculate that?
That brings us to Section 2, the foundational math, calculating ROI.
There's a golden rule in the corporate world. If you can't measure it, it literally didn't happen. The core grammar of our entire translation framework is the return on investment, or ROI. It might sound like really complex finance, but it actually boils down to a brilliantly simple two-step formula. Step 1 is establishing your net benefit. This is your raw business impact, the actual money you saved or the extra cash you generated, minus whatever fee or cost it took to get that result. Step 2 is calculating the ROI itself. You take that net benefit you just found and you divide it by the original project cost. That's the whole thing. Impact minus cost divided by cost.
Let's walk through a textbook cost-cutting example to see exactly how this math plays out in the real world. Imagine a company sitting on a baseline cost of $50 million. A team comes in, implements a slick savings strategy, and drives a modest 6% cost reduction. Let's run the numbers. 6% of $50 million is $3 million in annual savings. That's your raw business impact. But wait, we aren't done. The consulting fee for this project was $600,000. So, to find our true net benefit, we subtract that $600,000 fee from the $3 million in savings. That leaves us with a clean net benefit of $2.4 million.
Now for the fun part. We take that $2.4 million net benefit and divide it by the $600,000 initial fee. The result is a factor of 4, which translates to a massive 400% return on investment. Just think about what that means to a CFO. For every single dollar they spent on this project, they pocketed $4 in return. And what makes this incredibly compelling is the payback period. In this scenario, the client recovers their entire initial investment in just 2 to 3 months. When you frame your work like this, you aren't asking for a budget. You are handing them a high-yield investment. Moving right along to Section 3, driving revenue and EBITDA, expanding the vocabulary.
Now, cost-cutting is fantastic, but it's only one lever you can pull. Let's look at what happens when we shift our focus over to revenue. Imagine a baseline revenue of $80 million. A new strategy gets deployed that creates a 3% revenue uplift, bringing the new revenue total to $82.4 million. A really crucial concept here is the contribution margin. That's the percentage of sales revenue that actually exceeds your variable costs. Let's say this company has an 80% contribution margin. That 3% revenue boost flows beautifully right down the ledger, creating a $1.42 million net benefit. When you run our ROI formula on that, you are looking at a staggering 284% return. You're proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that your strategy directly grows the business.
Okay, if you spent any time at all around executives, you're going to hear this acronym constantly, EBITDA. It stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. The absolutely crucial thing to understand is why elite consultants are so completely obsessed with this specific metric. It's because EBITDA is a pure measure of a company's operational profitability. It strips away all the messy accounting differences, the tax structures, and the debt interest. It shows the executive exactly how efficiently their core business engine is actually running. If your project improves EBITDA, you are speaking directly to the heart of the business.
And I want to share a fascinating benchmark fact from top industry firms that you should absolutely commit to memory.
An incredibly modest 1 to 2% operational or pricing improvement frequently leads to an 8 to 11% overall profit increase. Now, how's that even possible? It's the magic of operating leverage. Small, highly targeted improvements at the top line scale dramatically by the time they reach the bottom line. You really don't always need to reinvent the wheel to create massive value. Sometimes you literally just need to optimize it by 1 or 2%.
Section 4. Tech Milestones to Dollars, the Data Science Masterclass.
Let's trace this out with a real-world narrative. Picture a retail inventory warehouse. It's completely chaotic, they're overstocked in the wrong areas, and they're bleeding sales. In Phase 1, we establish our baseline. Their current sales forecasting accuracy is stuck at a dismal 60%. Enter Phase 2. A data science team swoops in, deploys a predictive machine learning model, and bumps that accuracy up to 75%. To a data scientist, a 15% accuracy bump is a huge technical win, but we have to translate that. What does it actually mean for the business? Well, Phase 3 has the answer. Better forecasting reduced the decision cycle time by 33%. That means optimized inventory and vastly fewer lost sales. Finally, Phase 4 is the translation for the C-suite. That operational efficiency translates into a direct $1.5 million boost to EBITDA. We literally just drew a straight line from abstract machine learning directly to operational profitability.
When we break down the clean math on this advanced analytics project, the results are just undeniably compelling. The EBITDA impact was $1.5 million. The fee for the data science team was $750,000. Impact minus fee gives us a net benefit of $750,000. Divide that by the initial fee, and you have exactly a 100% ROI. This is a perfect one-to-one return on investment in just the first year, driven entirely by data-driven decision-making. I promise you, no executive on the planet is ever going to argue with a model that completely pays for itself and then doubles the investment in year one.
Finally, Section 5. The C-Suite Playbook. Actionable takeaways.
So how do we make sure you can replicate this magic in your next big meeting? Whether you are a project manager, a software engineer, or a consultant, here are your 3 concrete rules. Number 1, measure your value by business impact, not activity. Executives do not care how many hours you coded or how many sync-up meetings you held. They care about outcomes. Number 2, establish a flawless financial baseline. You simply cannot prove that you improved something if you can't accurately show where it started. You've got to get those baseline numbers before you write a single line of code. And number 3, translate your technical milestones directly into C-suite financial metrics. Turn your model accuracy and your reduced cycle times into ROI, payback periods, and EBITDA. This is exactly how you empower yourself to turn abstract advice into undeniable value.
I want to leave you with one final, totally vital question to chew on. Your work is incredibly valuable. You know that, and your immediate team knows that. But are you calculating it in a language the C-suite actually understands? If you start using the translation framework we've walked through today, hyper-focusing on net benefit, ROI, and EBITDA, you won't just be seen as a technical expert or a manager anymore. You're going to be seen as a relentless driver of business value. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to take these formulas and apply them to your very next project.